assuming that he doesn't use the nickname Skunk when he's working for the military.
Colonel Skunk?
Yeah, Colonel Skunk.
No, I don't think he does.
Extraordinary. Is there? I mean, because it seems in a strange way, obviously as the Bush administration leaves office, is there still a value? Do you feel? I mean, I suppose in a sense, it's never forget.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like, well, let's get the license number of the truck that ran over us.
Right. Yeah.
I position it as a musical impeachment because we'll never get another kind from these people. But we're still living with their legacy, you know. Course. Very close at hand.
But joking, we joked earlier about the sort of the value of satire in a way, but do you think that the sort of drip of satirical barbs aimed at this Bush administration through the sort of work that you do, also through the Daily Show and all these other programs, do you think it has an impact ultimately, or do you think in a sense it's for want of a better phrase, pissing in the wind?
I think it's pissing in the wind.
Right.
PIW. Well, it's fun doing that,
Sure.
as long as you're wearing a face guard.
Yes. Yeah, it never occurred to me that it might actually be something to spend your time doing. There's a fun project for an outside broadcast next week. We'll play some more music. We'll be back with Harry Shearer in a second. New single from the Cock and Bull Kid, that's I'm Not Sorry. Steve Show 6 Music with me, Steve Merchant, my gang of cronies, and our special guest Harry Shearer. It's a huge thrill to have you here. One question I want to ask you very quickly is you, I think, worked with one of my comedy heroes, which a lot of people in the UK won't even be familiar with, Jack Benny.
Oh my God!
Now, Jack Benny, for those that don't know, was, I suppose, a sort of an icon of American comedy through the 40s and 50s, particularly on television. And his sort of shtick, I suppose, most famously was being very miserly, but just had an extraordinary sort of low-key comic deadpan style that was just breathtaking. And you, because you're sort of an LA kid, is that right? And you worked with him, you knew him, you were babysat by him. What was?
No, I worked for him for 8 years. I was a child actor, and my jest is that I started in show business at the top, and I've been working my way carefully downward ever since to land here. But it was people who don't know him should. I think there's some stuff of his on YouTube. It was all about timing with Jack Benny.
Unbelievable.
The University of Timing. His pauses were legendary. And the great thing about him was he was. And this was really what misled me about the nature of comedy. He was so generous to other people who worked for him. They would get great lines, they would get great laughs, because he always knew he could top them with a reaction. And that made me think that, well, people in comedy are insanely generous about sharing the laughs, which, as you know, Steve,
that ain't the case.
That ain't the case.
This is pre-recorded. A lot of the laughs you're getting will be edited out at a later point.
Thank you.
And I will be making wry observations about the news and then inserting that laughter.
Yeah, but he was wonderful. He was wonderful to me, and it was a wonderful experience. I as a kid, just yearned to be in this, and to walk into a room and read a little script, and all of a sudden I'm on the Jack Benny program. It's like magic wand tapping me.
Now, I guess it's kind of obligatory while you're here that we talk about some of the sort of big hitters in your CV. Are you happy? Are you tired now of talking about Simpsons Tap, Spinal Simpsons Tap? I don't know whether you...
Well, you tired of talking about The Office and extras?
But no one really asks me about it.
All right, well, let's do that.
No, please.
When you were...
Please, you embarrassed me. Perhaps you'll have me on your radio show.
Or perhaps.
It's foolish to make promises at this stage. But Spinal Tap, obviously...
I don't have guests on my show.
For a show like... for a station like 6 Music, which is, it's all about kind of music and so on, and I suspect there's very few listeners that haven't seen the show, seen the film and absorbed it and so on, and has it become a sort of albatross? Does it become tiresome?
No. Oh, God, no. No, I mean, this was something that we had to push through the unwilling... machine of show business to get to the audience in the first place, and so we're I think I'm using not the royal we but the communal we for Christopher and Michael and me and Rob are all still totally chuffed that it's had this fame and this life, and we're going to be milking it this year. It's the 25th anniversary of the film, so we're going to do some appearances, perhaps even here in Great Britain.
And more music?
More music. Yeah, we've been in the studio doing, tarting up the old songs and doing some new ones.
Sure. I have to say, I saw you at, I believe it was Live Earth.
Yes.
Which also, I think...
Wait, you were there?
I was there in the audience.
Where? Which were you? Who were you?
I was, I think to the left, I was about 400 people down.
Yeah.
From the left.
The tall guy.
The tall guy, the guy with the, what was it called?
Marfan syndrome.
Marfan syndrome, yes, and what was interesting was that it was great to see you guys on there and tremendous response. And then I think a little later, one of the big heavy rock acts. Now, which one was it?
Madonna came after us.
Not Madonna. Metallica. Were on.
Oh, we were on after Metallica.
You had to follow
We
Metallica.
followed Metallica.
Because dare I say this, I do not want this to seem in any way like a criticism.
Yeah.
But in comparison with Metallica.
Well, no kidding. I mean,
I've never seen heavy metal live before, and they are extraordinary.
they're thunderous and remarkable, and I had never seen them live either. And we were standing in the wings watching them.
Is that your mobile phone?
That's my mobile phone. But it's going to to go away. That's my wife calling.
Is that not the BBC 6
Yes.
o'clock news?
Well, that's to warn me that a Brit's calling. That's my wife is a Brit.
And what do you have for American callers?
I have news sounds from America. It's just to alarm me. My lawyer has a very, very alarming news sound. Anyway, we're standing in the wings watching Metallica, this thunderous, fabulous musicianship, and all we can think of is great, and we have to follow this.
Yeah.
We better be funny, because otherwise there's no... But then we had 19 bass players on stage. Screw that.
And
including Trujillo from Metallica, who, stole Big Bottom, too.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it was tremendous. It was absolutely fantastic.
And we saved the Earth.
You did,
so good deal.
Because the Earth now is fine. Because I contributed some money to the Preview to Live 8, which has helped Africa. There's no more poverty.
Africa's out of the woods.
Africa's completely fine. So what are you going to work on? Who are you going to save next?
Mars.
Good.
Get the reddish tinge,
get some water
cleaned
there.
up. Yeah, more water. There's some water there.
Yeah, don't just give them, supplies of bottled water. Dig them a well.
Yeah,
have water for life.
Teach them to fish.
Exactly.
Don't give them a fish.
No, exactly. Of course. And so obviously, let's talk briefly The Simpsons.
Yeah.
You're not. I'm presuming you're obligated contractually to not do any of the voices. You're not allowed.
That's correct, Stephen.
Excellent.
I would be suing myself into oblivion if I did any of the voices, and taking you with me.
Now that is Marge, right?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
You got the ear.
I got the ear for them.
Now I thought you were going to say you're not like Nancy and doing robocalls as Scientology in your character voices. Did you see about that?
What's happened there?
Yeah.
Nancy Cartwright.
She does the voice of Bart.
Yeah, and she got in trouble for doing a robocall. One of those automated calls, inviting people to a Scientology event.
That's as Bart.
Yeah.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
See, I can do that. What I did with you, but if I were,
nothing else.
Well, if I were pitching a product or a religion, I think I'd get in trouble.
Now this it angers me that I can only do this voice, and I can make it slightly more West Country. All right, there, mate. How's it going? And slightly posher.
Yeah.
Hello, Stephen here, and that's it. Those are the.
That's the range.
That's the range I have. And
well, wait. You have falsetto, don't you? There you go. Yeah.
Hello, Stephen. You're looking lovely tonight.
Try that. Try a bit of that.
Sounds just like my mother.
Yeah.
But it must be such a thrill, because I think obviously you realise the excitement people get when they hear those voices, and particularly weirdly when they hear you doing the voice without the animation. It's somehow an extraordinary thrill.
Yeah, we had the experience of doing the show, doing a script of the show live at Edinburgh, and then in a theatre in London for a couple nights, and you've been in front of audiences. You recognize the energy ball that comes at you from audiences if you're doing something that they really are excited about. And I must say, Spinal Tap, everything else I've ever done on stage, nothing compared with the energy ball coming at the stage when we stood there and did these voices.
Yeah.
Because it was like the missing piece of the show.
Yeah,
to see
of course.
who was behind.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, come on then. I mean, just, dance for us, Monkey Boy.
Oakley dokley.
But
Now, Stephen, you're going to have to be in detention a little bit later after the show, based on your work here today.
one of the characters, some of the characters I notice you do a lot, which are always charmed by, are kind of wacky radio DJs.
Yeah, Bill and Marty in the morning on WBBL, KBBL, I think it's one of the BBLs. Sure. Yeah.
It's that sheer level of excitement that you only get on
overcaffeinated exuberance for you, listening pleasure. And just that laugh, the guys have to laugh at each other because they don't have sidekicks.
Gang of cronies.
You want to tape that so you can push it?
Please, that would be fantastic. And so, do you have sort of nieces and nephews and things for whom you're sort of wheeled out at parties?
No, I have the teeniest family. For historical reasons, and my mom just died a year ago, so it's my wife and me.
Sure. So luckily you're not. Does she pester you?
Yeah, but not for voices.
Not
Just for shoes.
you've never been tempted to just slip in one of those maybe during an intimate moment just for kicks.
Nina, just a
Excellent.
as a review. No, I've let
that would be
temptation.
extraordinary, wouldn't it?
I've spurned that temptation. Yeah.
That would be remarkable. That could be the end of the marriage, right?
Yeah, it could well be, yeah.
That would be great.
She doesn't sing to me in those moments, and I don't do voices to her, so I think we're even.
Great. Listen, I need to play a trial and some more music, and then we'll talk a bit more,
sure.
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Have you
I was craving more music.
You love more music?
Yeah.
Let's have a lovely trail for the breakfast show guy on this very station.
Ooh,
and
lovely.
Then we'll have some Sly and the Family Stone.
Great.
BBC Six Music.
Thank you for letting me be myself again, Sly and the Family Stone, of course, Steve Show 6 Music, more from Harry Shearer to come. But if you've just joined us, we are very pleased that in our Newcastle studio, we have Sammy and her legendary father still with us. You still there, guys?
We're still here, yes.
And apologies to keep you waiting, but we're talking to a major TV and broadcasting talent. Not that you aren't, Sammy. Don't switch the microphone off.
No, it's
and we were also we've basically been set a true or false series of questions. Sammy's father, of course, has led quite an extraordinary life, and so yes, the next in your true or false questions, if you would.
My dad once played in a punk band called Rancid Love Meat.
Your father once played in a band called Rancid Love Meat.
Is that true or is it false?
It's almost certainly true.
The only thing I can think is that it's called something much worse, and it's been toned down, and this is how we're being played here.
Is it? Yeah, I'm still going to go with true.
Yeah.
Dad?
Yes, that was true, unfortunately. Yep.
You once played in a band called Rancid Love Meat?
Yes, and I adopted as was the thing to do then, you had to have a punk band name. So I adopted the name James, and in brackets, very naughty Dobson.
Sorry, in brackets was the words very naughty, or you put
Yes.
something very naughty in there?
No,
I see, the words very naughty.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, a lot of the early Rancid Love Me albums I've not got.
No,
and the
nobody
band
has,
Fair.
Steve. Nobody has.
No. And how many bands have you been in over the years?
Oh, I've lost count. I started to give up when Sammy was one, because the work just dropped off, as it happens. So,
sorry, what dropped
many bands.
So Rancid Love Me.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much indeed. We'll come back to you a little bit later. Before we get to the news, we'll try and squeeze in a little bit of A Camp. They have a new album out, and from it, this is To Be Human. From the new album by A Camp, the solo side project, of course, of Nina Persson from The Cardigans. The album's called Colonia. That track is To Be Human. We have to go to the news. We'll be having more from Harry Shearer after that, but Harry's very kindly going to provide some news music using his phone. Yeah. It's pretty hardcore, that music, isn't
Sounds
it?
good on the phone, doesn't it?
Sounds great. We have a little party every time that comes on.
Do you want me to do the news?
Please.
Yeah. BBC News at... What time is it?
4:30?
BBC News at 4:30. I'm no one you know.
On digital radio.
From 1987, Push It by Salt and Pepper, of course. The best-selling female rap act of all time, apparently, for rap fact fans.
Wow.
There, yeah.
You're a regular Casey Kasem now.
Yeah, no, you'll be amazed what you can find out on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
It makes you sound like a know-it-all. Talking of which, Harry Shearer is with us, by the way. Another round of applause, please.
Thank you.
For Harry Shearer.
Speaking of know-it-alls, was that the segue I heard there?
Have you heard that phrase before? Know-it-all?
No, you said know-it-all, and then you said speaking of which.
Speaking of which, because, speaking more of looking up things on Wikipedia
I get you.
and sounding informed, Harry, you told me that I may well indeed, any moment, fall foul of, what was it called, Marfan?
Marfan syndrome. I just said the tall people are
I thought I was kind of immune. You know, I thought I was one of those people who, and this will sound bad, but, for instance, if we were in Nazi Germany, I've always felt I had a sort of